Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is the new 27-inch iMac. So it's the 2020 refresh, and as you can see, well, it looks exactly the same from the outside, which means this really is a internal spec bump upgrade, which is, fine, although we were kind of crossing our fingers hoping that we would get a design refresh of this. The fairly chunky bezels do make it look a little bit older, but it's still an incredibly well-built device. Obviously, this is an all-in-one, so while you can see my desktop PC back here, that is not connected to this. All the gubbins, all the hardware are in the back, which is what an all-in-one means, an AIO. So this actually only came yesterday, and I've only just got it unboxed and set up, so I'm going to obviously spend some time with it before I give you guys my full review, but I want to do an unboxing and give you some first impressions, and also run you through what is new if you're thinking about buying this iMac. So if I swipe right here, you'll see that the new iMac starts at £1,800 or $1,800. The one I have here spec'd out with the Nano-texture glass, which I'll talk about in a second, 10th gen 10-core i9 processor, 32 gigs of RAM, the fastest Radeon 5700 XT, terabyte storage, faster 10 gigabit Ethernet, and the Magic Mouse and the trackpad. £4,728. So the best part of £5,000 for this, which is an awful lot of money. But as I say, starting from 1,800. So what exactly is new with this? Well, let's start from the outside. And as I say, while the design is the same, with this particular model, which is a £500 option, we have this new Nano-texture glass. That's something they started doing on their Pro XDR display, which costs thousands and thousands of pounds by itself. And it's a way of mattifying the screen, but without adding a additional layer on top, which most manufacturers do to reduce the glossy reflectivity of the screens. But instead, they basically etch the display at the nanometer level. It all goes over my head, but it actually means that this is far less reflective than your usual glossy iMac. And actually side by side with the MacBook Pro 16, you can see here, I've got my LED light above my camera. It really does diffuse it. It's much, much less glossy. And the bonus of this nano texture is that it doesn't interfere with the contrast or the color quality or anything like that. So while it is a £500 extra, if you are in a bright office or you are doing, color grading, then that may be worth investing in. And also for the first time, we're now getting True Tone on the iMac. This is built into all new 27-inch models and basically adjusts the color temperature of the screen based on the ambient light around you so that you have that sort of natural paper white, but if you're color grading, you can always turn it off. Then we've got this guy, which is a 1080p f2.2 camera. So it's actually much improved from the old 720p FaceTime camera. And this is being shot from the new webcam. Not only is it high resolution, 1080p rather than the 720p FaceTime, which you still get on pretty much every other Apple device, including the MacBook Pro 16, which isn't the best, but it's actually using the T2 security chip in here, which is another new addition for the image signal processor. So it's actually offloading some of the processing of this new camera onto the T2, which should help with the video quality. But not only that, they've also added 3 near studio microphones, so hopefully you can hear my voice pretty clearly and the audio quality is good as well. This is going to be a much better setup for you. Improved camera and improved mics. And then around the back, we have the usual array of ports, including 4 USB 3s, 2 Thunderbolt 3 USB-Cs, and a headphone jack, but now we get a faster UHS 2 card reader, and also now a 10 gigabit Ethernet port, which costs you £100 over the standard 1 gigabit. I'm sure Apple won't mind me using a Samsung video to demonstrate this, but they've also improved the speakers in the new iMac. It's actually technically the same hardware for the speakers, but with, again, the T2 chip, they're doing some processing behind the scenes to improve the bass and also reduce distortion at higher volumes. And this thing does get pretty loud. Play with it, along with its little brother, the standard Note 20, which I'll come back to in a minute. But while it will, of course, it sounds good, it really does. So a new Nano-texture option, we've got better speakers, better webcam, better microphones, faster ports. So quite a few upgrades already, but it's what's on the inside that really counts. So the entry-level version for 1800 gets you the Radeon Pro 5300, along with a 6-core 10th gen i5 processor. There's also an 8-core i7, and then we've got the 5500 XT. Or if you do have very deep pockets and want that extra performance, you can spec the 10-core i9 and also opt to the Radeon Pro 5700 XT, which comes with 16 gigs of DDR6 VRAM. So if you are using apps or programs that can take advantage of more VRAM, then it is good that we have this option. The only thing that's slightly disappointing is we are looking at getting the next gen graphics cards, I think late September, RDNA 2 from AMD, and of course the 3000 series from NVIDIA, although we wouldn't see that in here. Nothing you can really do about that. So how fast is this exactly? Well, I ran Cinebench R20 earlier. You can see here, we've got the i9-10910 CPU, and then in Geekbench 5, we're looking at 1173 single core, 8530 multi-core. Now you know. I actually shot a little bit of this video earlier on, and I'm going to edit the whole thing on here. I've already got started with it, as you can see. And so far, it's incredibly smooth. This is a full 4K file. Of course, it's pretty simple at the moment. I do start to hear the fans whir up a little bit when I'm editing. It does get to a point you can hear it. I'd say it's about the same as my desktop back here, but because it's closer to me, it is a little bit louder, but it's never obtrusive. It's never, really made me notice it. And of course, if you're wearing headphones, then you won't know at all. So overall then, first impressions. Well, it would have been nice to see a bit of a redesign. I would have loved to see a 32-inch option, maybe if they shrunk the bezels a bit and increased the screen size. I actually use a 38-inch ultra-wide usually, so for me at least it's a little bit smaller, but I get that's not what the average person uses. And for example, while you can tilt the screen and also rotate the whole thing, because it's not that heavy actually, as he struggles to lift it. My backlight just came on. But there's still no height adjustment, so I'm gonna probably have to put it on something to bring it up to my eye level. But really, the important stuff is on the inside, and Apple say that we're looking at up to 65% CPU boosts and 55% GPU, and in some cases even more if you go for that 16 gig of VRAM 5700 XT. So importantly, the power is there. And it is nice to have this Nano-texture option, improved webcam, better speakers, better mic, faster SD card and Ethernet. So yeah, it's actually a pretty impressive upgrade. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. And also you might notice that I'm edging closer to that 1 million subscriber mark, so if you haven't already subscribed, it would be amazing if you could help me out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.